Hey, what's up everyone? It's Scott the Frozen Gamer representing the good, strong people of Minnesota. And I am back. I'm back, baby, yeah! I had to take a long break. I started a new job and I'm up at 4 in the morning for it, and I had to get my life and schedule. I'm not a morning person, so I had to get my life reorganized and resituated, and I am back and I'm gonna start doing videos again. And I'm starting with my favorite videos. It's gonna be my favorite video of the year, probably. It's my top 100 games of all time. Why is it my favorite video of the year? Because I get to talk about all the games that I love. So today we're gonna do games 100 through 91. So let's get started. Game 100, I do not own. I've played it online, I've played it with friends, I've played it solo on Tabletop Simulator. And that game is Heat, Pedal to the Metal, by Asger Grenrud and Daniel Pedersen by Days of Wonder. Came out in 2022. Last year, this game was 63 for me, so it's dropped a bit. I love racing games. I love, like, you throw a racing game in front of me, I'm probably gonna like it. And I like Heat a lot. It dropped a little bit because I like some other racing games better than Heat. But Heat is a really good, it's like a Formula One style racing game. And it's all based off this card play and this Heat system where you have to there's a lot of push your luck in Heat. It's kind of mathy because you kind of have to count out your steps all the time and see how far you're going, because you need to be able to know that for the push your luck element of the game and about how you spend your Heat. It's a little weird. There's some weird stuff with it, with the Heat in general is kind of just thematically a little weird to me. And then the symbolism on the top of your little player board is extremely not helpful unless you really have played the game a lot. But every time I play this game, I have to go back and be like, oh, what does each of the steps mean? They have little icons for each step of the game, and I can never remember what they mean every single time I come back to play this game. The artwork on the game is gorgeous. It's by Vincent Dutrait. That's what first, got me, well, two things got me excited. This was by the designers of Flamme Rouge, and it's Days of Wonder, so that made me excited. And then the artwork by Vincent Dutrait is just great in this game. It's really competitive. You can catch up if you fall behind. If you do miss a turn, it is harder to catch up if someone hasn't missed a turn, but hopefully they'll miss one later on. The end of the game often comes down to like one or two moves at the very end of the game. It gets really tense if you're in that battle for it. This game's ranked 46 overall on BGG with an 8.0. It's my 100. That is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Next up is a game that came out in 2019. It's by three designers, Danielle Deely, Lindsay Sherwood, and Nathan Thornton. Came out by Greater Than Games. And this game last year for me was number 96. It fell only 3 spots to number 99, just hanging in my top 100. And that is the game Medium. So Medium is a little party-esque style game, and I played it with my friends, and I had such a fun time with it. I was laughing so hard during the game, and so I started playing with my family, and we didn't even have the game, but we would just kind of hodgepodge it. We just kind of do rounds without like points and stuff. We would just kind of do it as an activity, especially while we were driving in the car. It was kind of our car game, and we still do it while we're driving in the car sometimes. So what this game is you'll have a deck of, not a deck of cards, you'll have a hand of cards, and everyone around the table will have a hand of cards. And someone on your side will place down a card, and that's the first word. Then you'll look at your hand and place down another card, that's the second word. And then you're trying to get a word, it's like a word association game. So you're trying to get a word that can fit both categories of words that were placed down. So let's say it was pizza was one word, and the second word was outer space. Or space was the second word that was put down. Well, maybe we would say, we'll go 3, 2, 1, and both players have to shout out a word. And so maybe I'll say moon, because the moon kind of looks like a pizza. I don't know. But let's say that for some reason, my player shouted out pepperoni, the player that I was playing with. So now we didn't get it. If we got it, we'd get like the most points on the table out of a pool of points. But if we didn't get it, now I said moon and they said pepperoni. Now we have to try to find a word that matches that. If we get it, we'll get points from the second group. If we don't get it, then we get one last attempt based off of the last words that we just said to match. And the point is to match what the player says at the same time. So we're like kind of like sending like our thoughts to each other. As I said, I played this with my family. We would just come up with a word. We wouldn't play with any points. We'll just say black socks. And we have to come up with something that matches that. And we just do that as a family. And it's really fun. And we'll just do it as a group, all four of us at once. In the game, you're only doing it with a partner. Such a fun game. You're going to have laughs with it because people are going to come up with some of the most crazy stuff when they can't think of anything. And then you have to try to make a pair out of that. And it just kind of derails sometimes. And then sometimes you just get it right off the bat. And it's not even an easy one. It's like a hard one. And you'll get it right off the bat. And everyone will be cheering because it was so amazing that you both thought of the same word. It's a really great game called Medium. It was rated 6.9 rating on BGG. It's ranked 2,267th and came out in 2019. My 99, Medium. Next up, number 98. And that, for me, moved from 99 up one whole spot to 98. Just, again, hanging on to the bottom here. And that is Ark Nova. When I first played this game, this was like a top 10 game for me, and it's dropped a bit. And this is by Matthias Wiege, and it's Fjorland Spiel was the publisher of the game. And so, Ark Nova. As I said, it was one of my top games when I first played it. It like blew my mind. I've seen these mechanisms before, but they came together. All these different mechanisms that have been out for a while just kind of came together and made this just amazing, unique game. And it was so smooth. And the thing where it's dropped for me is that it was long, and I haven't played it in a very long time. That's because I sold my copy. I played it the first time, bought the copy immediately, upgraded the copy, and then never played my copy. So I ended up selling it to someone that would want it and play it more than I was. It's a pretty heavy game, and it's long, and it feels long. I don't mind long games at all. You'll see long games on this list, but sometimes they feel long. And that's what I don't like, is when a game you're just kind of sitting there for a long time. I know other people get upset because it has just giant stack of cards. Every one of them is unique, and people don't like that because sometimes the cards that you want, you never get. That never bugs me in a game. That I just think, well, that's the luck of the draw. Be tactical, kind of figure your way out of this slump that you're in without getting the cards that you need. But it's just great. It's got this like Rajas of the Ganges type of scoring where you have one tracker going one way, another tracker going another way, and it's where you meet. And then you meet, and you have that part of the game. And then you're just trying to build up your zoo on this map by placing all the stuff in there, and then you're doing science, and it's just got all this great stuff. The way that you use your cards, you all have the same actions to start with that can be upgraded, but once you use it, you have to move it down to the bottom of the line of cards, and they become weaker as they're at the bottom, and as they work their way up, they become stronger. That's just super, super cool. It's really thematic for a Euro game. In my opinion, it feels like you are building this zoo up and doing the research and taking these animals in and helping them out in your zoo. It's a very positive game. And yeah, it's ranked number 2 on BGG for a reason. If I got this game played more, it would definitely be higher on my list. But I just don't get the opportunity to play it. And it's not one that I'd be pulling out all the time just because it is kind of long and heavy. So that is it. It's an 8.5 rating, came out in 2021. And ranked number 2 on BGG. And for me, it is number 98. Next up for me, dropped from 64, down 33 spots to 97. Still love the game though, it's just kind of taking a bit of a dive. And that is one that the first game that I actually own on my list. 4 games in, I don't own any of them. The first 3 games I didn't own any of. This one I do, and this is Camel Up. So Camel Up's by Stefan Bogen, and Eggerspiel is the first publisher of it. And this is the second edition. This is Camel Up, the second edition. And there is a big distinction between the first edition and the second edition. And that is that in the second edition, there are, if you can see it right there, these white camels and black camels that aren't in the race, but they're going the opposite direction of all the camels that are in the race. I'll explain that in a second. This is kind of a wacky racing game. And the reason it's dropped is because there's other wacky racing games that I enjoy a little bit more right now. I'm debating if I keep this in my collection or not. I still enjoy the game a ton, but I've got these other wacky, I don't need 3 wacky racing games. Maybe I do, I love racing games, who knows? But so Camel Up, what you're doing is, it's a racing and betting game. You're gonna be betting on camels. You don't actually own any of the camels, other than that you're betting on them. So you want certain camels to win. And the earlier you bet in the race, you can bet at any time in the race, but the earlier you bet, the more points you're gonna get for betting on that camel to win, because the odds are less because there's so much of the race that can happen before the finish line. So you don't really know, you have less information, I guess. So they're gonna go across, and then in like most racing games, if you land on the space where the figure is in front of you, you have to go behind it. In this one, the camels stack on top of each other. So if I'm moving in and I land here on top of another camel, and then the next camel goes, is signal that you go through this awesome 3D pyramid is what tells you you'll have all these different colored dice, and whatever that dice pops out of the pyramid is what camel moves. So let's say my green camel just moved here, and then the blue camel goes, and the blue camel's on the bottom. They're both gonna go together. And then they might get sent back a space because they landed on something, or forward a space because they landed on something. But what's crazy is let's say now we have the green and blue camel, they're riding and they land on top of the black camel. So now we got a black camel down here, and then the black camel goes, and the black camel's going in the opposite direction. So now the green and blue might have been winning the race, and now they're starting traveling to the other way, and they might land and be down towards last place because they passed going the opposite direction of all the other camels. But then let's say they land on top of the yellow camel, and then the yellow camel goes, and they're gonna move all of them back, but then the black camel goes again, and he starts moving. Now yellow's in the lead. It just gets so crazy. It's so funny. It's just one of those games where you're just gonna be laughing a lot throughout the game. One downside with Camel Up is that sometimes the races don't have that happen, and it's just a much more straightforward race. The good thing is it's a pretty short game. They have it listed 30 to 45 minutes, I'd say. Good 30 minutes for like a normal 4-player game, maybe 45. It can get a little bit longer if you're playing like a 6-player game of it, or an 8-player game of it. There's a couple extra rules if you're playing, I believe, 6+ in the game, but they're easy to implement and a lot of fun still as well. They don't like hamper down the game in any way. So this is rated 7.5 on BGG. It came out in 2018. Its overall rank on BGG is 265, and it is my, 97. Camel Up, 2nd edition. So back to games I don't own, and this one has moved up from 148th, up 52 spots to, did I do the math right? Yeah, 52 spots to 96, and that is Ticket to Ride, but specifically Collection Map 5, which is United Kingdom on one side and Pennsylvania on the other. Now, if I was just doing base Ticket to Ride, it's a game I like a lot still, but it would be down. It would not be in my top 100. It was one of the first hobby games, maybe the first hobby game I ever played before I even knew it was a hobby game. I thought it was just like an old classic game when I first played it. And that was well before I got in the hobby. So anyways, the reason I don't love Ticket to Ride anymore is there's the strategy. It kind of became apparent in the World Series of board gaming, where you just kind of collect all the cards, and then you just start laying out once you have like this huge hand of cards, then you start laying them out to build all of your track, and it seems like an optimal way to play, and it's kind of took out some of the fun for me. But this one, the reason I like this collection, Map Collection 5, is the UK board is a good board. It's not a bad board. It's still it's quality, right? But it's Pennsylvania. I love the Pennsylvania board, and it's not because I lived in Pennsylvania for 3 years. It is what makes Pennsylvania so great is that you're kind of racing not only to build your routes and try to get the optimal way to build your routes and not have people block you and all the normal Ticket to Ride stuff. There is this, do you want to call it like area majority, I guess? There's a stock market to it, but it's not like a stock market. If you hear stock market and you're like, oh, I don't want to play a train stock market game, it's not really that. Every time you complete a route, you get a little share of a train company. And once the game's over, whoever has the most shares of each company gets bonus points. So it incentivizes you to get your tracks out quick as well. So you don't want to just hoard cards anymore. Now you want to kind of get them out somewhat quick too, because you want to get those points for laying down the track on that that section of the track that has that train line's shares on it, because you want to collect those shares and always have the lead in those specific shares. So it makes the game, it adds a whole nother level to Ticket to Ride, to the basic Ticket to Ride that from all the other maps in the game. And it just adds this whole extra element. It's so easy to add in. And for people, you could just start with this one. You don't need to start with base Ticket to Ride unless you're teaching someone that's never played a game before. But if you're teaching people that have played games, and you can add this in, and the stock market is not going to overwhelm them in the slightest. Even if it's non-gamers, you could probably throw the stock market in and not overwhelm them. It's that simple of a concept. And yeah, it is wonderful. And it just improves the game so much more for me. I haven't played it in a long time. And I think that for this game, sometimes I haven't played them for a long time and they go down, like Ark Nova. This one I haven't played in a long time and it's going up for me. And that is because I'm kind of just itching to play it again. So that is Ticket to Ride, Map Collection 5, UK, and Pennsylvania. It's got an 8.0 rating out of 6,200 ratings on BGG. Doesn't have a ranking because it's an expansion, but it is my number 96. Next up for me is number 95, and that has dropped one spot. It's crazy. Like, I've gone through hundreds and hundreds of games that I put in and rank, and it's just crazy how these games sometimes come so close to what they were last year when I don't even consult that list. But anyways, this one is a game, it was one that I got fairly early on in my collection. It's super thematic, kind of weird. It was a big hit in Poland before it came over to the United States and got the United States treatment. So like the base game, the original game was from Poland. It's got a beautiful artwork by, who's the artwork by? Igor Burlikov and Xavier Collette. What did Xavier Collette do? Because I know I like that name. Abyss, my favorite artwork of any game. I knew I'd recognize that artist's name, but they did the gorgeous art in this as well. And that is Mysterium. And I definitely wanted to mention the artist because a lot of what's cool about this game is the artwork. So Mysterium, what is Mysterium? In this game, you're playing, like there's gonna be one person that plays the psychic person in the game, I guess, or the ghost, you're the ghost. And you're gonna try to be sending out to all the other players. You can play up with 7 people, 1 being the ghost and 6 being the other players. You could literally play this with 2 players if you wanted to. And you're working as a team. And I'm trying to send out signals to my teammates by playing a card in front of them. And it's gonna match, like I'll have different things like people, locations, and then like objects. And I'm trying to figure out who was like my murderer, I guess, as the ghost. So I'll lay out a card, and this is all this crazy surreal art. And something on this card is kind of trying to push my teammate to guess a specific person. Once you get the person, then you go to the location. So they'll move up the board, and I'll put out a card or multiple cards for them, and they're gonna try to guess the location. Once they get the location, then they're gonna try to guess the weapons. Then if we do that in enough time, if everyone gets done in enough time, I'm gonna try to put out cards that will help them try to figure out of all the ones that we had, which one was the original, like what ones are the actual ones. The artwork is Dixit-like, if you've ever played Dixit, just this surreal art, and really beautiful. It's one of the only limited communication games that I really, really enjoy. I don't love limited communication games, but this one, it works for me. It's so thematic. When I play like the bad guy, I'm like, I can't talk as a ghost, but I'm giving out clues. Like when they ask me, I don't remember if it's in the rules or not, but I'll like knock to tell them if they're right or wrong, and I'll make like ghost noises and just I'll play up the whole theme of the game. And it's tough. It's not an easy game, but it's not like brutally hard either. It's just kind of fits in that like nice comfortable spot for a co-op game where it's not too easy, which kind of ruins the game, not too hard where you're never winning the game and makes it not fun. And yeah, it's a quality game. There's another game out called Obscurio that I just played in December for the first time, and that is basically Mysterium, but there's a trader element to it. So it's either there's one person playing as a trader, which I believe I was, and everyone else is on a team together, and you're trying to have your side win. So it's more of a team element than Mysterium. I think I like just Mysterium, the co-op, a little bit better, which is strange because I don't love co-op games as a whole. But yeah, it might just be nostalgia for that too, because I played it for so much longer than I ever played Obscurio. But Obscurio is a great game too. If you were picking between the two, you could go either one. And would you rather play co-op? Would you rather play like Hidden Trader and go that way if you're going to buy either of these? Great game. Let's see the stats on it. It's rated a 7.2 out of 48,000 ratings on BGG. It's got came out in 2015. Overall on BGG, it's ranked 434th. And on my list, it's ranked number 95. That is Mysterium. Okay, now I'm on to number 94. And this one dropped from 47 the year before. So what is that? Dropped 47 spots to 94. And the reason it dropped for me, it's still a great game. I still think this game is amazing. And it just dropped because I played it a ton last year since I bought the game. And I played it a ton because it works so well with family. And I can just pull this game out with anyone. I can carry it along with anyone too because it is an oink game. So that means small little box. I'll show it to you in a second. And that game is Dropolter. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Little game here. So this is designed by Paul Schultz. Oink Games, as I said. So what you're doing in this game, I'll just pull some stuff out and show you. You're gonna have a hand of different objects, which I am collecting right now. I think I'm missing one. Yep, there we go. So you're gonna have these objects in your hand. Ooh, you got this little yellow square, a ring, the blue key. We got a shell and a red cube. We're gonna flip over a card. Everyone has these in their hands. You're gonna shake them up. You flip over a card, and it's gonna tell you which of these objects to drop. And what you have to do is you have to drop them. I can't use this hand to go in. I have to drop them just using and feeling around in my hand to dropping them. There's an advanced mode where you do it with your eyes shut, so you can't even see what's in your hand. And if you're the first one that drops the correct things, you have to be the first one to grab the polter, the ghost. And if you grab the ghost, you score a point. First to 5 points wins. But here's the other little catch of the game, is that when you get a point, you're gonna get a little gold bell. And you add that to your hand. So your points are in your hand. And when you're playing now, I'm gonna shuffle it up. And now I have to do, whenever I have to drop on the next card, I have to do it without dropping the bell, because if I drop my bell, that's my point. I lose my point. It goes back. And so now I was at 1 point, now I'm back down to no points. I play it where if you drop the bell anytime in the game, it's out. So even if I'm like shaking it and then all of a sudden the bell, and this has happened to me and other people, the bell shoots out of your hand when you're shaking it up. If that happens, you lost your point. Eventually you're gonna have like 4 bells in your hand before you win the game. And there's this, it's a very tactile game, obviously. So you got this dexterity tactileness to it, and all the different shapes feel different. Some are wood, some are plastic. And you got the brass of the bells, but then you start shaking it and you got this auditory part of it too, and the bells sound nice. They're not annoying. So you got this auditory aspect of the game as well. And it just plays so well that way, as just, you've got the feeling, you're using all of your senses in it, except taste. So you're using all these senses, different senses in the game, which just makes it that much more fun. It's a game that you hear the rules of the game and you think, oh, this is going to be stupid. This is just going to be one of those, just a dumb game. Like who came up with this? How did this ever get printed? And then you play it and you're like, oh my gosh, that was like so funny playing that game. That was just craziness. And it's so much harder than I thought it would be. And yeah, it's great. So the stats on Dropolter is it's got a 7.1 rating out of 2.7 thousand ratings. And it came out in 2023, and it's currently ranked on BGG 1,662, but it's way up higher than that in my ratings at number 94, Dropolter. So number 93 is another game that just dropped one spot on my list. It was 92 last year, 93 this year. I own it. It's right on my wall around the corner here, so I'm not gonna show it to you because I don't wanna move the camera, and I don't wanna take it down because it's huge, and that is Crokinole. So Crokinole is a classic game, 150 years old at this point, and exactly 150 years old. And it is, it's a dexterity flicking game. And it's not like a crazy, like modern board game style dexterity flicking game. No, it's more like a pub style flicking game, or like a shuffle puck type of game that you'd play at a pub. And so basically what you do is you have this huge round board, and then it's got three little, it looks like a target with like 3 layers of the target until you get to the center. Well, 4 if you count the center button. And around the innermost layer, the bullseye layer, I guess, where the innermost part of the target is and the button is, you have little pegs that are blocking, these little brass pegs or whatever they're made out of. And it's a wax board, and then what you do is you take your little disc and you flick it, and you're trying to get it in. If there's no discs on the board, you're trying to get it into the center circle or the button. The button gives you 20 points right off the bat if you get it in and you take your piece out of the button, if you get it in the button. Let's say I get it, if the board is blank and I miss that center circle, then it's a miss and you just knock your piece off the board into the rail. Then let's say the next player goes and they get it in the center circle, but not in the button. They just get in the center circle. So now it's my turn. Because they're in the center circle, what I have to do is hit their piece. I have to hit their piece. And then hopefully get my piece to land in the button, or that's really skilled if you do that, or just get as close to the center circle as possible, because the more closer to the center circle, the more points. It's 15, 10, 5 points for the different levels of the target, let's say. Once everyone is through all of their discs, you see who has the most points, and that player gets a point, one on the thing. Or you can play up to 100 where you count your points and you count the difference. So if I got 35 points that round and you got 20 points, I would get 15 points that round. You play up to 100. Or you can just say, I won game 1 and play the best out of 3 or however many games you want to play the best out of. It is a challenging game. It's a challenging dexterity game. You'd think it would be fairly easy to flick through these little pegs that are sticking up. And for some reason, no matter how much I play, I don't play it like all the time. I'm not an expert at this game, and I will flick it and I hit the peg and it bounces, my little disc bounces right back to me out in the rail. It goes into the rail. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's pretty challenging if you don't play it all the time and practice. I play it with my family. I've played it with my family, like with my family's friends, and it goes over well. It's just a classic. You know, they talk about beer and pretzel games. This is the epitome of it. You're just gonna play it and do what, eat, snack, talk while you're playing. This is not a strategy game. It's not like a dexterity game where you really need to be kind of planning anything out. Nope. You're just kind of sitting there playing, unless you're playing tournament style, you're that good. And then yes, there's more strategy involved and you're going to want to look at all the angles, but casual play, you're just playing. You're playing a game just to, have fun while you're hanging out with someone. And it's relaxing. It's not that stressful. Even though it is kind of difficult, it's not that stressful. And it looks beautiful. It's our wall art in our basement. I got my board, I forgot who, geez, I wish I remembered the artist's name. I had to go up to Canada. I didn't have to. I went up to Canada at the time. There was a company up there that is now defunct, and they made all handmade boards from there. I know Tracy Boards, I believe, which is also in Canada, I think, is kind of like the leader of handmade boards now, that makes beautiful boards as well, and beautiful pieces, beautiful discs with it. So that is it. That is Crokinole. Stats are 8.1 rating, an 8.1 rating with 21,000 ratings given. It came out in 1876, and it is ranked number 45 overall on BGG. That's crazy. A dexterity game from the 1800s ranked 45. But for me, it's ranked number 93. Still love it. That is Crokinole. My number 92 is my first new game to the list. Actually, Ticket to Ride was new to the list because it was 148th the year before, because I was doing Ticket to Ride as a whole, not just the Pennsylvania map. Jumped up to 96 this year, but this is the first brand new one to the list. I don't think this was ever in my list any year I've ever done it. And that is kind of a type of game that I'm just starting to get into. It's by DVG Games, Dan Verson Games. It's Castle Itter. What's the subtitle called? The Strangest Battle of World War II. This is a solo game. You can play it 2 players, but you're going to play it solo most likely. And it's a war game. And I'm not like into war games at all. I am actually very much pacifistic in my beliefs. I don't love war. I don't like violence of any kind, but I do like it in games. So this one it's a really unique game. There's a whole line of them. I also have Pavlov's House on my shelf over there, which came out, I believe it came out before Castle Itter, but I believe Castle Itter had a print and play before Pavlov's House. And Pavlov's House is a little, and then there's 2 more in the series as well. But Pavlov's House is a little bit of a better game probably, but I enjoy Castle Itter a little bit more due to its simplicity in the game. It's still not that, I mean, it's kind of simple, I guess. Let's go look at it or talk about it. So Castle Itter, the strangest battle of World War II. Why is it called the strangest battle of World War II? Well, there's a few reasons. This battle happened 5 days after Hitler killed himself, 2 days before the end of the actual war. What happened was there was a Castle Itter, which became a prison to like the French. United States came in from the West, and there's all these French prisoners in there. And then they took in Wehrmacht soldiers, German soldiers, to battle on their side. So there was this Panzer division came up from Germany at the very end of the war, and they fought against other Germans along with the French and the Americans, who were outnumbered and are trying to hold down this Castle Itter at the end of the war. So what do you do in the game? Basically, it's a state of siege game, a tower defense game. You are just trying to last 12 hours in the game. Not 12 hours of real life. The game is like an hour long. So you're trying to last like 12 hours of game time and just survive. You're just trying to survive. You're going to have to fight and do other things, but you're just trying to survive. It's an earlier state of siege game, and I just think it is amazing. I love the theme of the game. Anytime you get a World War II where you're going to try to kill Nazis, as much as I'm a pacifist, killing Nazis makes me happy. So yeah, it's a really good game. Couple times I played it, I didn't do too well. It was hard for me. It's got a weight of 2.3, so it's not that complex. That's the thing about war games, where I get nervous to jump into actual like war games because they're so complex. This one is not too complex at all. You can learn it. It's by David Thompson, who has come out to do many mainstream games recently. You can jump into this game. It's a little easier, as I said, than Pavlov's House. Pavlov's House has a couple of extra elements in it. Still an outstanding game. But Castle Itter, if you want to jump into the style of state of siege game, this is a great one to start with because it is probably the most simple of the line of those games. Let's see the stats on this one. It's a 7.7 rating, only 675 ratings, where I'm having like tens of thousands of other games. This is not as popular of a game. It's a war game by Dan Verson Games, 675 rating. But overall, it's ranked 3,369 because out of those 675 ratings, they're pretty darn good. This is my number 92. Did I just mention that I like games where I get to kill Nazis? I think I did, because my number 91 game is also a war game where you're trying to kill Nazis. And that is, let's see, it was number 30 last year, and it fell because I haven't played it, and the rule set on this one is it's still not a hard game, but it's a little bit deeper of a game than Castle Itter. So I dread kind of like relearning the rules on it. But once I relearn them, I know I'm going to love it. But that's the reason it's fallen. I haven't played it for a while. And I Obviously, after my first plays of it, I loved it. That it was ranked number 30 at that time. So if I play it again, I'm sure it'll jump up the list once I get over my mental battle of relearning rules. This game is Halls of Hegra. This is by Peter Schanke Olsen by Tom Peck Games. They have another game coming out that's going to be similar to this that I'm super excited about. I was hoping to play test it, but then my life changed with my job. So I never got to play testing it, but this one I'm super excited about that one. This one is super good. Get your hands on this one if you can. So Halls of Hegra is another kind of weird World War II game. So in this one, you're Norwegian volunteers that are trying to hold back the Nazi front during the early parts of World War II. So Kessel-Litters is the very end of World War II. This game takes place in the early parts of World War II. And how you do it, there's different like elements to the game. Maybe you can see the back here. I was just trying to think of how to even explain this, because it's not like just a state of siege, like tower defense game. There's other things going on in this. Like in this section here, you're like moving up a map. You're sending soldiers up a map, these volunteer soldiers, to try to get resources to bring back. Then there's like the battling section is down here. Up here is where like warplanes come in. This is where I always die. I don't know how to handle these warplanes. They're just so crazy. But this one has more mechanisms going on to it, because there's like this worker placement element. There's like this area majority element. And then there's the main part, the tower defense element of it. There's bag building in it. The bag building is a little bit different, though, in that it only is for the very beginning of the game. By mid-game, late game, or wherever, the bag building element's just done. It's just magically you don't do bag building anymore. So it's kind of, it's really unique. And I just played it and I was like, oh, wow, I've never played anything like this before. You're kind of placing out your workers on where you want your soldiers to be going. That's like the worker placement aspect of it. There's events that keep coming up through the card play that happens, and man, the game is good. It is good. I'm getting excited. I want to play it like right now. Again, I want to relearn it to play it. This one is strictly a solo only game, and it's a little longer. It says 90 minutes. I know my first game, a learning game, it took me 2 hours minimum, if I remember correctly. It's a long game for a solo only game, but it is worth it. It is so unique. It's just unique. And it's hard. As I said, I have not won this game at all. Anytime when the planes come in and start bombing me, I'm just done. I'm doing decent up to that point, and then I'm just done. And it starts out where everything goes well, and slowly everything starts getting to be more and more of a crisis. It's got just tons of tension in the game that way. It just gets like, all of a sudden you're like, when those planes come in, you're just like overwhelmed with like all this negativity that's happening around you, and you have to try to put out fires all over the place in this game. And yeah, it's so good. It's so good. So the stats on this one, it has an 8.1 rating, 1,000 ratings roughly, and it's ranked 1,974th overall on BGG. It's my number 91. That is Halls of Hegra. That's it for these first 10 of my top 100. I'm so excited to share the rest with you. I'm just kind of looking over my next list. The next list is going to be pretty different. A lot of different style games than what I showed here today. So yeah, keep watching. I'll put out more of these soon. So that's it. Peace. Stay cool. See you next time. Bye. I'm back.